Record. There we go. We're running this. What did Brian say he was doing? I think he said he was on a day trip or something because it's the
Oh,
afternoon in his universe.
well, that's too bad. I was gonna ask, but I figured that he would have shown up by now if he was gonna do it.
Oh, right, right, right.
Uh,
No, no, sorry. I could have said that up front, but I forgot to.
yeah,
So,
and like I said, yeah, I figured that. Okay.
but where were we? Yeah. So for anyone listening, yes, sorry for the levels on Space Brain. Matt's still having his dumb issues. I think we're closer today, but Zoom is a mysterious mistress, mistress. Sorry, it came out.
It's a
I was
rip
too
off.
angry.
They don't give you fucking stems.
Yeah, I don't get stems. And then SteamYard
Rip
gives me
off.
shitty stems. So
Rip off. It's steamy pile of dumpster or zoomy pile of
no, because
dumpster.
after these meetings end, it takes like 20 minutes to render, and then you get a video file and an audio file, one of each.
I mean, there's got to be some solution that's elegant and works. It probably is like give Adobe $100 a month or something horrible like that.
Yeah. So no, what
I
I'm paying
I
for
will
Zoom
look
is
into it.
the ability to have more people and the ability
Yeah.
to have this go for more than 45 minutes.
Well, yeah, it's like
And I don't know if you can actually record on normal Zoom. Can you? Oh, yes, you can because you record sometimes, don't you?
me.
I give you a recording permission sometimes, right?
Yeah, but I
I
think
mean,
that's
and that's
like I'm
you get the
still
same
like
thing.
using your. I think I'm still using your pro in that case, right? Like I think that I
Oh,
don't think
maybe.
that it's like giving me the ability specifically. I don't know anything.
Anyway, so Zoom, yeah, yeah, it's a mysterious world, dark world for Thor and stuff. Mm.
Yeah, well, sooner or later it'll collapse and be bought by something worse,
They
like
well,
Amazon.
my other big disappointment was yesterday. I had to watch the driver's ed film again to get my license renewed because you have to watch the
Uh-huh.
driver's ed film to get your license renewed in Japan.
How many people died in it?
A few, but they took out the money shot because 5 years ago, last time I got, it's really dry educational stuff the entire time, right? But then
Yeah.
there's this one sequence where suddenly I guess they got good camera equipment for that day, and there's a guy texting and driving, and he hits a boy on the bicycle and gets out, and there's a crane shot while he's like screaming no above the boy that he just killed.
Hell yeah.
With a crane shot. And they took
Damn,
it
it's
out. I guess
gone.
someone decided it was too stupid. The most we got this time was
That's
it was a guy who had drunk driven and killed someone, and they were like interrogating him in the police office, and he was really dark and talking like this, and he was like trying to act, he was trying to put a little bit of sugar on it.
well, I mean, I had a shitty day overall, but like the most recent insult was that I got grocery store sushi and it like wasn't labeled that it had like crab salad and stuff inside instead of the rice and avocado like it usually would, and that pissed me off because it's gross.
Oh, okay. I'd probably be
I don't
okay with
want
the
sushi to
crab.
be full of crab salad. I want avocado and rice.
You need to, well, you won't, yeah, you need sushi in Japan where there are no choices actually. If you want a roll,
Yeah,
you're
I'm
just
fine
getting a
with that.
plain ass roll.
That sounds great.
If you're not
I
even
don't
getting a
like
California roll, it's just tuna in there.
much like the Americanization. It's gotten a little better, but for a while, like what is it, that like yellow spicy sauce? They would just put it on almost everything. You go to the grocery store and it would just be like 90% of it would have that spicy sauce on it. I'm like,
The
it's
Vietnamese
kind of
one,
gross.
sriracha,
No. It's like I think it's just like
like mustard.
it's like yellowish brown. I don't know. I think it's just it might just be an American thing only, but it's like just spicy. It's kind of like a spicy mayo, I guess.
Not mustard, mayo.
It's not mustard. It's not
Okay.
mustardy. It's just spicy. I mean, it's just like I don't know. You really don't have that in Japan. There's
I
nothing
guess
that was like there's
I
spicy
don't I don't
sauce all
know.
over it.
They do put
I
mayo
guess
in
not.
places you don't want it, like a corn mayo
Yeah.
pizza.
Ugh.
You
Well,
want a
this
corn
is
mayo
just it's
pizza?
just and I don't want one, thanks. I don't
Curry
know what it is.
pizza.
It's not the spicy sauce isn't like terrible, but I just am not in the mood for it usually. And it's
Mm.
just like everything has that on it. It's just
How about curry pizza?
hell yeah, I'll eat curry
Okay, you'll
pizza.
do the curry pizza.
God, yeah, I love curry. It's my one of my favorite things in the world. I would eat anything curry,
I love curry,
basically.
but it's not necessarily what my jam for a pizza, I think.
I cannot think of a thing I would like. I've had at some German street festival at like currywurst. No, that was in Chicago that time. We went to Chicago. Remember, it
That
was
was a
just like a
verse
hot
curry.
dog with curry all over it.
Mm.
Yeah, it was great. It was the best of the worst. But
I guess
hell yeah,
I guess we'll do this. Leave a little pause so I can spot it, and
of
we do
course,
get the podcast name correct, of course. Unless you
of
don't.
course. Welcome to Podcast 1999, the podcast about Space 1999. I'm your host, Darian, and this is my other host, Darian.
They had names, didn't they? Neiman. I remembered it because that was my fourth
I
grade
was just
English teacher's name.
I was just trying to make a really roundabout Newhart joke.
Oh wow. Okay. Uh,
You didn't even
You're the
come close
I
to
mean
getting it.
I just put it together, but I if anyone else got it, do tell us because I have a feeling
Yes,
nobody
please
got that.
tweet at us if you're over the age of 38 and watched Newhart at some point. Um,
I was about to say over the age
anyway,
of 80, but
so here we are for Mission of the Darians.
that's right. So I don't know. I guess do we just jump into the trivia?
Might as well because there's a
There's
lot of it.
oh good.
And
Okay.
that's why you asked me if I was in panic mode, and I absolutely had this done last night because I was terrified of not getting it all done because there's a lot of it.
Okay.
Okay. 22nd in production order, we have Ray Austin back to direct and Johnny Byrne back on writing duties. It's Austin's last contribution this year, but he'll be back for 2 in season 2. Byrne will be back for our season finale and then for 3 in season 2. This is Byrne's favorite episode of the series. He based this story partly on the book Alive about the 1974 plane crash in the Andes Mountains with cannibalistic results. A story that's recently re entered the zeitgeist thanks to the new film Society of the Snow, which I've not seen, but it's supposed to be pretty rad. Byrne also originally had the plot more focused on the Darians engineering DNA to make the quote unquote perfect race. Darian rhymes with Aryan, get it? Ha ha
Was that a joke?
ha. This episode, that is trivia, is fact. Darian does rhyme with. Anyway, this episode has the largest cast of any episode in the entire series, but it's only one of 2 episodes in season 1 that didn't feature Anton Phillips as Bob Matthias or Suzanne Roquette as Tanya Alexander. The Infernal Machine being the other episode missing those 2. So most people are here. Once again, our main guest star is The Wig, returning for the last
You
time this
couldn't really
season.
see the wig this time though.
Exactly. Will it be back in season 2? Who knows? But outshining The Wig this week is Dame Joan Henrietta Collins as Kara. You know her, you love her. You probably know her as Joan Collins.
Yeah, I was
Born
sitting there
in
like thinking
19
about Henrietta there.
Henrietta. How British. Born in 1933 in Paddington, London, she cut her teeth at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art and started acting in film at the age of 17. She's racked up a Golden Globe, a People's Choice Award, 2 Soap Opera Digest Awards, and a Primetime Emmy nomination, not to mention a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She's one of only 2 actors to appear in both Star Trek, City on the Edge of Forever, of course, and Space 1999. We'll see the other one of those actors next season. But also, she's the only actor to appear in both Space 1999 and Mission Impossible, aside from our 2 leads. Aside from that, you can see her in If It's Tuesday, This Must Be Belgium. Can Hieronymus Merkin ever forget Mercy Hump and find true happiness? That's a question mark at the end of that. And rally round the flag, boys! With an exclamation point. And you can hear us talk about her on our other podcast, Films and Filth, in our Viva Rock Vegas episode. Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas. She played Wilma's mother, stepping in for Elizabeth Taylor, who had just retired. She still has credits on IMDb as of last year, so the Collins Express shows no sign of slowing down.
I think
Barbara
that's
Bain.
not the first time you used that.
Barbara Bain objected to Collins' wardrobe for this episode and demanded that Collins' skirt be longer so that she wouldn't appear sexier than Bain. Jerry Anderson refused, so therefore Bain insisted that she wear an even skimpier outfit for the second half of this episode. Apparently, this was just one of the many reasons that the crew had given her the nickname Barbara Payne, behind her back. Barbara Payne.
Yeah, no, I got that the first time.
Our
I
guest.
just feel like you're still doing trivia. See, now I'm interrupting you because you were like waiting for
No,
a
I'm still
response.
doing it.
I
I'm
know, but
I'm
you
leaving.
gave a pause like, why aren't you talking? So
I'm
I'm talking
I'm
now.
enjoying this too much and leaving little pauses just to giggle to myself. Our guest, ill-fated elfin this week, is Bill Lowry, played by Paul Entrim. Born in 1944 in Ireland, he had an extremely busy career in film and TV, considering he died in 1990 at the age of 46. Make me a little nervous. You can see him in The Dragon's Opponent, March or Die, and the jail diary, the jail diary of Albie Sachs. I found no information on how he lost that one fingertip.
I'll be Sax.
You will. Guesting as Neiman, we have Dennis Burgess, born in 1926 in Wales. He worked as a teacher until the age of 47, at which point he suddenly decided to become a professional actor. His first role was opposite his childhood friend, Richard Burton. Aside from that, you can see him in The Inheritors, Off to Philadelphia in the Morning, and The Elephant Man. He passed away in 1980 at the age of 54, and I'm starting to think that Joan Collins may have drained the life force of all the guest stars on this episode. Uh, Robert Russell guest stars as Hayden. That's the leader of the survivors. He was born in 1936 in Kent, England. He was a mostly TV actor whom you can see in Sudden Terror, The Breaking of Bumbo, and I Didn't Know You Cared. He passed away in 2008 at the age of 71, so I cannot blame Collins for that one. Gerald Staden plays the ill-fated mutant, only credited as male mute. Born in 1943 in Kirkburton, West Yorkshire, England. His credits include History of the World Part 1, The Dark Crystal, Return of the Jedi, Willow, and Christmas Hamper. Anyway, probably because his resume is so impressive, he's still just as alive as Joan Collins is. The female mute was played by Jackie Horton, and this is her only on-screen credit, so your guess is as good as mine. Since he showed so much initiative this episode, here's a long overdue spotlight on Nick Tate as Alan Carter. Born to two actors in 1942 in Rush Cutters Bay, Sydney, Australia. His acting career started at age 14 doing a radio serial. His appearance in most episodes of Space 1999 is front and center on his IMDb page, but you can also see him in The Oblong Box, NBC Special Treat, and Special Squad. Not to mention a spot on Star Trek Next Generation episode Final Mission as Durgo, Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode Honor Among Thieves as Liam Bilby, and as recently as the last few years, he's voice acted in Psychonauts 2 and 52 episodes of The Strange Shores. So the Tate Mobile shows no signs of slowing down. That's trivia.
You've used that before.
I think I have.
That means he's been on Star Trek and Space 1999 also.
Okay, but not Star Trek,
The
the original series, though.
Yes, and I got your qualifier there.
Damn it.
Summary.
Wait, you did a summary?
Let's see. You did. I don't know. Do I do it? I didn't do it. If I did it, well, somebody will do it later.
Good. Okay, I did one. So okay.
Oh, it is your turn then. Okay, now
I thought you were saying that you did it. I was gonna be like, no.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Then everything worked out. Okay.
Yeah, except that I had to do this summary. Alpha receives an automated distress single.
Dingle.
Alpha receives an
Alpha gets a
automated
dingle.
distress signal
Dingle.
from the spaceship Daria, and they go to investigate. And after their eagle is sucked into a docking area, they split up to go look for survivors. Koenig and Berman go one way, Carter and Morrow another, and Russell and Bill Lowry wait near the ship. The latter two find a door, and inside they see two frightened, mute little people. They attempt to calm them and then follow them, but are soon abducted. Koenig and Bergman are shot by two figures in spacesuits and knocked unconscious. Alan and Paul find the male mute who Helena and Bill were following and convince him to help find them. Meanwhile, John and Victor come to and are greeted by Kara and Neiman, who explain that they are two of only 14 Darians who survived a nuclear explosion 900 years ago, that the distress call they received was an automated response to that event. The Darians want the Elfins' help, but Koenig refuses to make a decision before he finds his people, and the Darians agree to help in the search. Meanwhile, Helena, Lowry, and the mute woman are taken by several survivors to be judged, and they then execute the mute woman for being a quote-unquote mutant, and then they execute Lowry for having one missing fingertip, which apparently makes him also a mutant. But then they decide that Helena is free of imperfections and is to be offered to the god Neiman. Alan and Paul show up, and Paul pursues Helena's captors while Alan shows the survivors that the men in spacesuits, who they've been calling spirits, are just men, and this seeds a rebellion. Koenig and Victor find where Helena is captive and learn the truth. The Darians are using everyone else as supplies and decide that Alphans should actually not help them. Kara decides to show Koenig their DNA storage to impress him, but soon the survivors show up and their leader, Hayden, throws Neiman into the DNA, smashing all of it. Kara wonders how the Darians will have a future, and Koenig says the survivors are their future and that the Alphans will help them learn to live together. The end.
Yeah, so from like the start of this episode, I actually wanted like when we see Lowry, I thought it just should just have like dead meat printed on his shirt. Like he was the most obvious, like this guy's going to die, like ever. Like even for
Yeah.
this show.
If anything happens to someone and Helena's like, no, name of person, they're
Here are
dead.
4 regulars and some dude. It's like well, it's like what's Sam Rockwell yelling in Galaxy Quest, right? Well, I'm the
Yeah.
guest star. I'm gonna die.
So this feels like it should be the second episode of the series. I I don't know how you feel about that. This is a kind of interesting one where I think that this is the first time I feel like the episode or the production order might should have been broken up a little bit, because I feel like we're just feasting a little too much lately.
Oh, you're
And
just well. They did take some later episodes and put them closer up front.
yeah,
So
and I looked at the airing order, which I usually don't even bother looking at.
where did this one air?
Um, this is like ninth, so I don't know,
Okay,
middle-ish. But I mean, before this, you have Force of Life, War Games, Deaths of the Other Dominion, uh, you know,
in the airing
Dragon's
order.
Domain, which we haven't even done yet, Alpha
Well,
Child.
why do you want this to be number 2? I don't have that feeling. Just throw that out there. But
It feels like a second episode, and I can't necessarily qualify that with it. It feels like when you're watching a series, you always get the pilot that sort of establishes everything, and it feels like if in the second episode they came across all this stuff, then you would be really excited for where the series was going to go.
I mean, I guess I was looking at the late '90s guide, which I forgot the author's name. I could look it up on my iPad here. But anyway, uh, they're pointing out that this is one of the few times that the Alphans actually like get properly involved with an alien culture. I guess they did that in our world a few weeks ago with the one that was not War Games but should have been War Games. With the Lady
Um,
Planet and the dudes planet. See, I'm starting to like think back
um,
on the episodes with the episode times I think they should have.
Lady Planet and Dude Planet, the last enemy. That's what it was.
There we go. See that? Why would I remember that name for that episode? It doesn't make any sense.
That aired way later, actually.
Yeah. Well, I'm just talking
That
about.
was the last. Oh, that's right. What am I thinking? It was we learned in the trivia. It was the last episode because the network saw it, said, "This is called the last enemy. It should be the last episode," and then they just put it on the end.
Yeah. Right.
So, even though the last sunset isn't the last episode,
Well, an enemy sounds more hardcore than I don't know. A sunset's the end of everything, maybe. So yeah.
that seems like that would have been a good finale. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. That would have been
Right?
a good. Yes, I think we discussed that at the time. That would be a good finale.
Mm-hmm. Because
Um.
you see them snatch whatever you want to call it,
And then
snatch defeat from the jaws of victory or whatever the hell
I,
happened.
I'm thinking of Trek second episodes. Of course, the original series it really doesn't matter because it's a '60s show. But
Man,
Next Gen is the Naked Now, which is a really
yeah,
dumb second episode.
yeah, no,
Voyager
not
has
good.
the Coffee Nebula one, I think, second, where you don't meet any aliens; they're just stuck in a nebula the whole time.
Sure, but I mean that's a good Voyager episode. Makes
Oh no,
sense.
that one's good, but I'm just like that one's very that they go straight for bottle episode for the second one, where this is like the opposite of a bottle episode. This is like an
Yeah.
epic episode.
Well, yes, and at the same
Well,
time, it
in a
follows the
early
pattern of
'70s, yeah,
every other episode in this.
in a later apes sequel, epic sort of way, in a Battle of the Apes is epic sort of way.
Mm.
where they only blew up one treehouse from, but they filmed it from several different angles. So they just keep showing you the same treehouse blowing up because they didn't have any money.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is it's funny that just so close to the end of the first season, I'm like, yeah, this the good stuff at the end really should they did make the right call to spread that out a little bit because just I feel just kind of spoiled and kind of I know it's not I know that the rest of the season hasn't been the level of quality that we've gotten the last 2 or 3 weeks. So it's hard not to think about it.
Right. Although this presses my sci-fi 70s sci-fi dystopian, but it's pretty hard. You definitely have like some Logan's Run vibes. I mean, this is before Logan's
Mm-hmm.
Run, right? Or Omega Man,
Pretty
or
close.
like a year before. So
Yeah.
I think Logan's Run is 76, and this aired early
76.
76.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, this would be 76 sometime, but obviously they didn't film this in 76.
Disco
Um,
garbs for the Darians, that sort of stuff.
yeah, no, I love it. It's not the story is a little incoherent, but and I don't know. The motivations are confusing, but it's great and I love every set and everything and
I
um
mean, you mentioned there was a new show that was along these lines, but I mean, I was thinking like Snowpiercer for half the time. This being much
hmm,
bigger than Snowpiercer, but the same general
yeah.
concept, where the people in the back are being grist and used for food and to fuel the engines and stuff. They're being used as the resources, and then the people up front are kind of partying.
Yeah, it's the story has really good bones. It's just I feel like maybe a little bit it suffers from a little of that like weird dialogue thing that keeps happening on this show where there's that conversation early on where Koenig asks Kara like why did you attack us? And she's like, "Why how can we trust you?" And then she tells him that they read their mind and know everything about them right after that. So it's like if you can read their mind, then why are you even worried? You know what I mean? Like I guess they have to knock them unconscious to read their mind.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, there's my note. It says now she knows about Koenig's secret internet porn addiction. Okay, because she
yeah,
knows
she knows
everything
about
about
that
them.
time that he got a little too excited when he was caught in that spider web.
Yeah. Oh, what was the main the main the leader of the scum bums? Did they give him a name?
His name is Hayden. I
Okay,
don't
there
think
we
you
go.
hear the name in the episode, but
Oh,
his
that's
name is Hayden.
well. Like I just my note is that guy's a very proto Mad Max villain. Didn't catch his
Yeah.
name. Wasn't given. I
Oh
guess it
yeah.
wasn't.
Yeah,
Especially
Mad
once he
Max
quite.
vibes all over, but it's
Yes.
like,
Especially once they
uh,
start putting people in the space microwave.
but like that I heard it recently framed it might have been a guest in this podcast who said it, but that Mad Max was just super heavily inspired by just biker culture. So everything that reminds me of Mad Max that came out before Mad Max, I'm like, oh, they're just it's like they watched Easy Rider and did this. You know what I mean? It's biker stuff, which is a great idea.
Yeah, yeah. Just like like Star Wars. Like, well, let's take some samurai stuff, mix it with Flash Gordon,
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
Yeah, samurai bikers. That's Star Wars pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know if there's so much bikers in Star Wars, but
Samurai bikers we are.
that could work. But of course, actually, he's a good villain in that he isn't just. I mean, he chews some scenery, but he's not like doing like Baylor Jarek levels of scenery chewing. He's just like a proper, kind of bad guy that gets turned around. I guess that's the point of the thing. He gets turned around and goes to revolting. The citizens
Well,
are revolting.
I hate to I hate to pick at a show for obviously they didn't have enough budget to really do everything that they wanted to do. But this is just like Death's Other Dominion, where just having like, I don't know, 3 or 4 guest stars, you were able to flesh out the characters by having them have disputes with each other. Where most episodes of this show, it's like one guy. So if one guy shows up, then then you make him evil or maybe make him good. You can't make him I guess you give him a bunch of personalities and he argues with himself, but
We
that's
haven't done that yet, have we?
this is a good plot partly because there are enough guest stars that you can make a couple of factions that have disagreements with each other. So that's really all you need sometimes is just more than one guest star.
Well, there's
Um,
budgets to consider. I
I
get
mean,
well.
yeah,
It's
there's
just
budgets and there's like what they use the budgets for usually is cool explosions, which I cannot really get mad about. However, sometimes, but also sometimes you could maybe get three generic dudes for the price of one Shakespeare guy, but I don't know. I don't know how that actually works. They might
yeah.
have
They
been
had to
working for
pay
scale anyway.
Joan Collins a little bit of money, I think.
I mean, I hope they did, but who
Some money had
knows?
to go into that Darian ship, sort of like our that's kind of
But
spaceball city,
but also, I mean, if I'd run down all of the cast here, a lot of them were uncredited on IMDb and didn't have little pictures next to them, which means says to me that they were probably just extras who were promoted to main cast members because money, right? Like this is their only acting job for I think a lot of these people, most
Yeah,
likely.
yeah. I mean, I guess when there's like such a little fandom built around something, people start picking that out because, like a Star Trek
Uh-huh.
convention, again, you could be like a minor guest spot in like one episode from 1994, and there'll still be a few people very excited to see you.
Yeah, and I mean I've not, that's obviously not been my job and we're not trying to compete with anybody we know and we're not trying to make a Star Trek podcast. But man, I've never really heavily dissected a whole lot of Star Trek episodes.
No, I
Listen to
mean
Mission Log if you want someone to do that.
right,
But
but it's hard to talk about
even they
Space
aren't going to talk
1999
about.
without bringing up some Trek.
Yeah. What I'm going to say is that even they are not going to spend their time going over every single extra. And I'm sure that at some point you go down that road and you find extras who are in this one episode of Star Trek and never acted again,
Yeah, if
which
they
is
didn't
fine.
speak, that's gonna, I think having a speaking role is maybe one of the things that if you speak, somebody remembers you.
Yeah. But also, I think Star Trek, perhaps wisely, I'm feeling like at this point, would put more money into extra actors than in cool, super awesome effects.
Well, especially, I mean, now, I mean, of course, digital effects cost money, but probably less than building giant models and stuff.
Less than this stuff, the stuff Space 1999 is doing. It's like, and I don't, I'm not going to complain about it, but
It's just kind of weird because
um,
this is like the most premium looking show for 70s TV, but now television has fully inhabited the world of movies, basically. So what you'd expect to see in a
mhm.
movie, we now expect to see in a TV show, and that definitely this is like in the space in between.
And still, if you watch a lot of prestige TV, you will sometimes notice when they're cutting corners.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
that's just because watching TV is an exercise in repetition, and then you eventually, like we're doing here, you eventually start to pick things apart. Like, sure, sure has been a lot of sinister aliens wanting to inhabit people's bodies.
but
Anyway,
but even like a few years later, like big mini series like Roots or North and South, things like that, like they look like TV shows when you watch them now. They don't look like a film from the 70s
well, yeah,
where
and
it's
even what
out
I would
you can't
call
distinguish anymore. What's like I don't know if something's a film or just something that Netflix crapped out now.
like this has come up on your other podcast a bunch, but I specifically remember to me, the 80s Twilight Zone series looked like a movie to me. There's
It
certain things
doesn't.
from around that era. I know it does, and I've sort of peeked at it. Um, Specific things: Star Trek: The Next Generation, the Untouchables TV series, the War of the Worlds TV series, Alien Nation TV series. All those felt at the time like more movie like,
But
and they are
compared to movies, they
not.
were still, yeah, kind of behind the. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's still something to compare, but I just find this series interesting as basic. I mean, it's the first time someone did science fiction and put some real money behind it. It seems because Luke
Well,
Ray didn't
yeah,
just
and
throw money in crazy directions.
this is the only. I mean, this is really the only time that puppet people were in charge of something like this. I mean,
Puppet
aside
people.
from UFO, puppet people. It's a thing. It's a thing, right? There are puppet. I think a lot of creators would be kind of embarrassed to have a ship on a string or something like that. And these guys, not only do they do it, but they do it professionally, and they give it their best. And maybe there may be a curve that might have been kind of painful to watch the series in 1987 or something, but now it's very easy to appreciate it.
Right. Well, I guess we should. This is an episode that actually does have some nice conundrums to think about. It's well until the end, and they kind of spell everything out. But um,
Yeah.
even when joining the Darians seemed like maybe not the worst idea, I'm still like, well, they're just gonna. There's obviously an insane class struggle that they've already learned about. That seems like reason enough to move on.
Yeah, and also they're trying to make some kind of pure they're holding all their pure DNA, but all the DNA is just a bunch of different colors.
That was a
What's that
very cool
about? Why
display,
some
though.
of it's red? Yeah, no, I love it.
But don't put it in the
It looks
middle
like
of
a
the
bunch of
room.
jello.
Don't put it in the middle of the room on like a
Middle of the
thin
room.
plate. It should be in a vault or something.
No, you don't understand. That's your God. That you have to have God in the middle of the room, even if but some insane man is going to come smash it. It's
Put
it's
some
sort of
fiberglass around it. I don't know.
it's pretty amazing that none of these little like tension like I guess this stuff has been going on for 900 years.
I was about to say nobody thought about that in 900 years.
Yeah, it's like why is this still happening? It'd be like if Snowpiercer just had one guy who showed up on the train who's like, "Hey, this train's bad," and
That's
then that
basically
happened.
what Chris Evans did.
Chris Evans ate a baby. Oh, I'm sorry. Spoil. Beep that out. That was a spoiler.
No.
That's one of my favorite things about that movie is that Captain America ate a baby.
I also started thinking about Yondu. They wanted to eat you. Because that's pretty
Yeah,
much. I guess they ground them into fertilizer, so you're not directly eating them.
but then we
But
learned
Chris
that
Evans
Yondu
ate a
actually had it.
baby.
But Yondu actually had a heart of gold and would never eat a baby, probably, except
No,
for
of course.
maybe he
But
did.
well, I'm just going by the first movie rules, not the second.
Well, yeah, in the Christmas special.
Oh, geez, I forgot to watch that. I have to watch that
Yeah,
sometime.
it's not very.
No,
It's not
I
very
don't need
good.
to watch that. Okay,
It's
so
it's okay. It's whatever.
the holiday specials still are not good.
It's it's not great. The third movie is much better than the holiday special.
It's better than the Star Wars one, is it?
I don't think I've really watched the Star Wars one.
Oh, you need. Oh my God, you'd have to watch that. It's on YouTube. Just you can skip
Yeah.
over the 20 minutes of Wookiee screaming at each other if you want.
Okay. Well,
Although
sooner or
if you
later.
don't, make sure to scrub it properly, or you'll miss Grandpa Lumpy going off to watch porn. That's not a joke. That is
What is
kind of what
porn in
happens.
Star Wars called Prun or something like that?
Well, he gets like a hologram of Donna Summers or something like cooing at him. That's
I'm
not.
gonna go listen to Jizz.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. What? Oh,
That's
that's the
Star
Max
Wars.
Rebo music.
That's canon. Yes, it's
No, I
called
have
Jizz.
I have heard that. I had to kind of work it out for a minute though, because we did Space Brain last week.
I
So
think
I did.
since that went viral, they suddenly started like, no, it's Juzz or something like that. I don't know.
Been a
Uh,
good time to own Yaz.
yeah, I mean, or Yazoo.
Right, right. Um, what is your favorite sci-fi dystopia, by the way? There's so many
Oh,
fun dystopias.
that's a really tough call. I mean, Zardoz is pretty fun. Whatever you
Yeah,
call that place. What was that place called?
I don't. The Illuminati land. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's not called
Um,
Zardoz.
yeah, Zardoz is the thing in the
I
sky,
I want
right?
to call it Elysium because Elysium was like sort of the worst version of Zardoz,
How about
and
the
that
movie
Elysium
Elysium?
was the name of the thing. No, screw it. It's not good. It's not good.
I see. I got a soft spot for any dystopia, so I've actually seen Elysium probably like 3 times.
Wow. I mean, it's competent. It's just I don't didn't enjoy it. It's not like
Oblivion, that
District
one got
9.
somewhat. That was the best 70s sci-fi movie made in the 2010s.
I never watched Oblivion. I really should.
It's
I
that
didn't
who
really
could
care
film.
for that guy's Tron movie, so I just sort of thought I maybe didn't like him.
Hmm. I would give it's crazy how much it plays like a 70s sci-fi, but with like on a much larger budget with, eff- effects that are spruced up but still somehow feel 70s ish. I guess it's lots
Yeah.
of white with a little bit of chrome and black sort of stuff.
Yeah, and I also haven't seen his Top Gun movie. Oh, he also directed Taco Bell Web of Fries.
Oh, that sounds. Do they have fries at Taco Bell?
Gatorade Sports Fuel. Yes, they do now.
Oh, I don't. Why
So,
would I want fries at
oh,
Taco Bell? That doesn't make any sense.
they're good. He directed the Gears of War Mad World commercial back
Oh,
in the
okay.
day.
So
That was like his
obviously,
first job.
oh, it's first job. Okay.
Everything, everything except for the Tron movie and Oblivion and Top Gun Maverick that he's done seem to be music videos or commercials.
Right. I guess
Oh,
he's one of Top
oh no, no,
Top
no.
Guns. He's one of Tom Cruise's guys now. Maybe I guess.
He directed Only the Brave, based on a true story of firefighters. 7.6. I don't.
Anyway, I'm not
Josh
calling that as my
Brolin.
favorite. I'm calling that more of a neglected dystopia. Um,
Ah,
I mean, I guess Logan's Run is basically my favorite.
Logan's Run is great because it's like the more time passes, the more I kind of love it because when the budget runs out halfway through, you just get a different movie, and that movie is also good.
It's
You know what I
pretty
mean?
good, but after you've just been to New You and been screaming Sanctuary, it's a little bit of a letdown just to be stuck in the forest.
Yeah, but I mean, you get cool giant waterfalls and Zero Mostel.
No,
Just
you
yeah.
get good stuff. I'm not saying you don't. I'm just like, yeah, you want to spend time in the city of the dome so hard, right?
Wait, that wasn't Zero Mostel, was it?
No, it wasn't. I was actually like,
Damn it!
it's somebody of that.
It's it's a guy who reminds me of Zero Mostel.
Yeah, I just have like eight names I can say, and they're probably all wrong. So it seems you're looking it up for us.
Yeah, of course I am.
I guess that's what Neiman was kind of
Peter
like here.
Ustinov. Peter
Yeah, there we
Ustinov.
go. Okay, yeah. I was like, it's not Ernest Borgnine. I know that. Who
I
else?
love both of them. I love both of
Oliver
them
Reed
equally.
popped through my mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oliver Reed was the one where it's like that was the first one. I was like, I don't think that's right.
Well, you know, I'm gonna rewatch that soon. That's something where maybe somebody should just take that movie and special edition it and just replace the crappy bottle rockets with real lasers
Hell
and
no,
just say
no,
that's it.
no.
Why
You don't.
not?
You
Screw
don't
it.
do that. No, you don't do that.
All
You
right.
leave it. You leave it as is.
Okay.
You don't touch Logan's Run.
Well, I know. I mean, it's one of the movies that you can make the best case for remake because of the diversion from the
Oh,
plot of the
there's been
book.
such a ridiculous lineage of remakes of that movie not happening for the past 20
Yeah,
years.
I followed all of it. It could have been Nicholas Winding Refn with Ryan Gosling like 15 years ago, but yeah, no.
But
Same. Oh, yeah, never mind. I was gonna say same director as 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, but it was a different 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
uh but no, I guess I'm thinking about because I'm like the Darians ship like really does I think fit in with the pantheon of like weird dystopias. Um
Mm-hmm. No, this is a classic fun dystop. I mean, fun. I guess it might not be fun if you find this episode scary or upsetting, which I understand is a tense thing. It's a
I mean you
tense
don't
situation.
it's what they talk about though. I mean for the most part. Well, I mean we see few people get microwaved, but we
Yeah,
don't
that's
actually see cannibalism.
yeah, but I did would give this a higher dread score than usual because of that. The
Right.
the general vibe. It's a
Um
dready scenario.
Yeah, I did like the matte paintings in this. I mean, they're the ones where it's
Hmm.
like we're not going to make them look real, so let's make them look awesome.
Yeah, exactly. That's sort of the show's credo is make it look awesome. It's like who cares if it looks real? It looks
Yeah.
great.
So the design of the ship, I guess were they using last week's set again for the
Some of it.
yeah,
Um,
kind of like they did with Death's or Dominion, where they ended up using that again for the full circle. Look, I got the title right for that one.
hey, way to go. Now the basically the part where you see Paul go through those doors and kind of wander around, that's the infernal machine there. And the radiation suits are from a Catherine Shell film, Moon Zero Two, who
I've seen that.
Brian Johnson, Nick Alder worked on. Catherine Shell, who we'll be seeing a lot of in season two.
Yeah,
Is
I
it
guess she
good?
stayed friendly with the class.
4.5.
It's it's
Hmm.
cool to watch.
Hmm.
I'll say
Well, I'm
that it's
looking
cool to
at
watch.
stills from it. It looks great.
It
So,
looks great. The pacing of it, if I remember, kind of blows. Like it's
uh,
got like late '60s like low budget slowness to it, but it does have
mm,
cool stuff to look at. I don't think any of the actors in there particularly like hit the nail on the head.
hmm.
So
Well,
it's a little bit of a doll watch, but there's cool stuff to see. So I mean,
huh,
I put it along the lines of one notch under Planet of the Vampires, I guess, that had that
okay.
lava magic. So one notch
I
under. I wonder if I'm saying that because they were on the same caught DVD disc. Actually, I could find
I
that out.
actually
I
have
bet.
well, it was a gift, but I do have a Blu-ray of Planet of the Vampires.
Sorry, you got to say something. I'm troweling through my DVDs trying to answer pointless questions that don't have anything to do with
Oh,
this episode.
well, the Darian handheld weapon was previously used by Koenig on The Full Circle as the device used to locate the markers left by the missing Eagle 6 crew. It is seen once more on A Matter of Balance as Vindris's weapon. I'm just straight up quoting IMDb at this point.
Right.
Um,
Okay. That's fine. I found my okay. There's Planet of the Vampires. They put Moon Zero Two with when dinosaurs ruled the Earth. So
hmm,
that's when Fox. Actually, it looks like Warner Brothers in this case was putting out a bunch of those. They just put two cult films out on a single disc and sell it for $10, which was a good deal in 2002.
yeah, why not? I've long passed the point where I would buy DVDs just because they have more than one film on them because I just I'm running out of space in
We
my
live in a different
life.
world now.
Yeah, I live in a world of maybe if I sell all like 300 of my vinyl records, I will start buying discs again.
um,
But
it's weird. Okay. Just a few. I'll go through a few random notes that Victor's always
mhm,
happy wherever he is. He's very zen.
yeah,
So he's always fascinated, right? So he
yeah,
shows up and Koenig starts yelling "damn it" at them very quickly. And
yeah,
Victor's trying to he seems a little more interested in talking to them. So
yeah. Um, I put in my notes that they gave them a Darwinist god to believe in. Wow, thanks.
oh, in this
um,
episode, Paul he runs around aimlessly and does Kirk Fu. Like Paul,
yeah.
I think maybe he did have a few of his shrooms, like when he boarded the Darian craft.
I hope he did. You got to keep some.
So Paul was a little wackier than usual. Not, I mean, he wasn't saying wacky stuff, but he was just like, he seemed a little hyperactive. Who's running main mission, by the way?
I think David Cano is. He shows up on the comm, right?
Oh, okay, Kano's
He's
there. I
like, "Good to come back. Yeah, good to see you
wonder.
guys again."
Oh, that's at the end of the episode. Okay, I
Yeah,
was thinking that like halfway through the episode. I guess Winters could be in charge again.
yeah, maybe he didn't die, right? Winters didn't die.
He didn't die, so he
Oh,
could
that's
be
right,
doing
because
it.
he was there subbing for Paul. Maybe
Yeah,
that's why
yeah.
Paul is so aggro, is because he got his like lump removed, and he's just like,
Oh, yeah.
"Way
He
to
has got a
go!"
new lease on life feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that.
Also, when he's running around aimlessly, I mean, the ship is so big, it's pretty unlikely that he's actually going to run into anyone.
Yeah,
It's a very
but
large ship.
we have we have sort of a continuation of whispering Koenig in this episode where he whispers to Kara that that she has to take them. Well, he has to take them to Helena, or they'll tear this place apart. He's just
Yeah,
like,
but
"I'll
but he
tear
also
this place
he yells a
apart."
bunch of damn it's earlier, so
He does. It
so
does yell some,
he gets
but
some
I think
yelling
when he
too.
does a lot of his main like important dialogue, he's whispering, which I think is fun.
Yeah. Where are some other notes I have? Don't knock human meat until you've tried it. I'll give you a god. Okay.
um,
I think I'm out there. I think I did it.
look, okay, well, I need to get to this very important thing that at the very end, the last I've nitpicked a lot of those like freeze frame last moments, and our I didn't put who said it, but somebody asked Koenig if the same thing had happened on Alpha, would you have chosen differently? And then he says, "Remind me to tell you sometime," which makes me think that he would have done it, maybe.
Maybe he did it at he was when he was running C Lab 2022.
Yeah, that makes me think that he's like, I have to think about whether I would feed you into a machine to like keep the rest of us alive.
It's like how like in the other like spy movies when the military guy screws up, they send them to like the Alaskan base. Maybe he screwed up C Lab so bad that they just okay, you're off to the moon. Like the moon is like being in the top tip in Alert Canada or something. That's the moon.
If this was something like
Sorry
Lost,
if you're
I mean,
listening in Alert Canada. I mean, hopefully you're having a fine time. I think people choose to go there.
I don't really like the show Lost, but the show Lost would probably do something like in the third season, you get a flashback showing you like Koenig just completely messing up and getting assigned the moon base after failing something,
Yeah.
which is something which would make this show amazing if they did that.
Well, to be
Be
fair, they sent them there to
incredible.
get things rolling because their massive space program project was about to happen. They were going to go to Nibiru or whatever, right? So
Just that's right. Yes, it was Operation Exodus.
no,
Operation
that's what
Exodus.
no, that's what they want to do every week on this show. That's where they leave
Well,
Alpha.
we haven't heard about that for a while, have we? I think
That
they've
long
forgotten
ago.
about it.
Well, they're talking about it in this episode because if they were to say hook up with the Darians in every way, they would have done
Hmm.
Exodus, right?
Yeah, you guys want to go to the back and do some Exodus?
Yeah. It's the Ridley Scott strain, man.
I mean, clearly
God sent this.
Joan Collins is too important to be a love interest for Koenig. She's like in charge,
Yeah, you
and
don't even consider. You're like, that's Joan Collins. I don't care if that's Martin Landau or not. There's just no, it's
no,
not
she's
happening.
too good. She's too
She's
good.
too
Even
good
if
for him.
she's evil, she's too good for everybody, including Neiman and blah 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 blurb blurb. What's his name? Hayden.
I
I
don't know.
just
It sounded
started
like you're
making
having a
noises.
stroke, to be perfectly honest.
Blah 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 blah.
Um,
I wanted to just call him like I think it's probably not super classy to call people savages. It's just like what else do you call these guys? It's a bunch of uh loincloth clad
you call them Manowar.
dirty men of they're survivors, I think. I think I saw them referred to as survivors. I started referring to them as survivors.
Okay, sorry for.
Survivors have
I was
been
thinking of
nuclear.
Savages. So you've seen some Manowar album covers, right, from the '80s?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. You
Yeah.
call them Savages. They
Yeah.
savage you.
I mean, hey, I'm a savage. I'm a beneath savage compared to Joan Collins. Cannot imagine. I if Joan Collins wanted my DNA to fuel her ship, I would just be like, dude, just take it.
Right.
Don't even credit me. Don't even think about it. Take my DNA. Um. Anyway,
Well,
do you think that maybe she just made the wig die after this? Do you think that the wig just shriveled up and felt
do we know for a fact we're not going to see the wig again?
this season?
Okay, this season.
I mean,
Well, they only
according to
have
that
two
trivia
episodes left.
blurb I read, I mean, keep an eye out next two episodes, but we've got two episodes left. So
Are you going
unless
to
the
do a
dragon
cast
is wearing
spotlight for the wig?
I think I've talked more about the wig than I have about a couple of cast members, and I feel kind of bad about it.
Today's spotlight's on the wig.
So, what do you think about how much cast members of this show really want to be more nude than the other people? That's kind of weird, right?
Well, yeah, their dream is to get outside the moon base and to wear a towel.
Yeah. You know,
Towel is the best.
yeah, I guess that you almost see like nude corpses in this, right? Like when they go into the room where all the like people are being used up or
Oh
whatever it
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah. That was pretty saucy, wasn't it?
Really close to nude corpses. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, let's put the split on this one, I guess. You said it's not so much
Yeah.
fun for you this time. You got to go first
Oh,
because you gave the premonition.
yeah, it's a little bit rough, but I still because it is very fun. Like I said, I wish that we could just go to 200%. Um yeah, I'm just screw it. I don't care. It's 75% existential dread and 60% sci-fi fun.
It's
I don't care.
140%.
It's 100.
I'm
Well,
gonna
it's more of an episode than a lot of the episodes are.
Okay. I'm gonna reuse actually pretty much gonna go with what I think I said last week with or 2 weeks ago with 60 fun, 40 dread. Because the dread
Yeah.
is for me is a little blunted because it's like such a dystopian trope. We've been talking about half the dystopians which do similar stuff, right? So it's like I've been desensitized that idea. If this was the first time I had encountered that idea, I'd probably be like 80 dread or something. But since we get a giant set and that crazy stuff in Joan Collins' hair and the weird gene bank glass thing that's easy to smash, that's a fair amount of that's 60 fun for
A
me.
lot of the, when I give something a high dread score, a lot of it is that I feel that the situation that our heroes are in is kind of hopeless, and really it is pretty miraculous that they got out of this. Like if the survivors hadn't listened to Alan Carter, they would have been screwed. They would have been dead. They'd all be dead.
Well,
They
Moonbase would
just
have been
because the guy
fine.
smashed stuff. And
They would have lost
also,
5 people, but
well,
Moonbase would be fine. It's not like the utter destruction of Moonbase, which is the inevitable utter destruction of Moonbase that colors some episodes' dread
yeah,
feelings.
but also, um, I mean, obviously we know what happens at the end of the episode, but part of in the back of my head, I'm thinking that they could just say everything that they said, and Koenig says, "We'll help you," and then Joan Collins just says, "Never." Listen to me. I am God. Kill these dolphins. And it probably would have worked on some level.
Oh yeah, if she had just started eating the scenery and got super evil, that would have been, I mean, fun.
Yeah.
And for the most part, this is a, I mean, it still has some goofy, 70s sci-fi action, of course. Paul's doing Kirk Fu, we spending time with the savages is definitely like wacky 70s sci-fi stuff. So it's not like we don't
Yeah.
get that, but yeah, like you said, more guest stars, more gray areas, right?
Yeah. And that's, yeah, they might have killed each other. They probably still would. I mean, because maybe the survivors would just get mad in a couple of years and be like, actually, let us live in the fancy control room. They're like,
That
no,
doesn't
you
have
can't.
radiation.
You can't live in the fancy control room. They smashed the new DNA that they made. How did they make the DNA anyway? They can't reproduce. How
They
do they
made it
make it?
900 years plus ago.
What do they do? They like kill a bunch of Darians to do it?
Probably.
Yeah. Not
I mean,
good. But
there's
you know what?
probably
It's pretty
there used to be more
colors.
than 14.
I want to just get that. I just get a bunch of color gel and just reproduce that and just have it in my house, just waiting for someone to know what it is.
Smash. Yeah.
Smash it.
Smash.
Like
Um,
it.
yeah, they do say there's 50,000 on the ship, so 14 Darians. That's a pretty extreme elite there.
Yeah. And if they're killing people kind of frequently, right? Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
I
since
guess
we
I guess
see at least two die and one attempted death,
right.
uh,
I guess to supply these 14 Darians, you do need 50,000 people. So the
man,
number of people killed to support one Darian is quite high. They leave a large carbon footprint of human flesh.
yeah, it almost applies to Earth life. It's just so, I don't know.
Yeah, actually, dread is rising. Maybe I don't know. Now we're
It's so
55,
wet.
45.
It's kind of, well, the thing is, there's a lot of space on Earth, and you can,
A lot of space in the ship.
live kind of ethically if you want, even though that there's a cost for that. But
Yeah, you can't on the ship. So
no, you
the,
can't. That's the thing. That's why it doesn't really work super well as a metaphor. But it's good sci-fi in that it's close. It's applicable, sort of. I don't
or
mean to sound like I'm being down on the episode. I like this episode. It was good. I
well,
enjoyed it.
we are supposed to be giving them. Well, not. We've
Yeah, we're
decided to give them
dissecting.
critical analysis. So when you do a critical
Yes,
analysis, you talk about many things,
you're right. We're not just here to like kiss it
especially all that
and take
all
it
those
and go.
tangents we went on that have nothing to do with the episode.
We're not just here to take Joan Collins and kiss her a bunch of times and take her. And what was it? What did I say? Do excess? Did I
No, you
forget
did
my
not.
own joke?
You forgot your own joke, and I forgot your own joke. Just rewind 20 minutes, and you'll get it again. Exodus.
Exodus. Yeah, you
You're
just have
doing
to go do
Exodus.
do Exodus at a club with Joan Collins in the back. Um, but yeah, I guess farewell to the wig if that's what's gonna happen.
Wig thee well.
Wigging out.
Fare thee wig. Okay.
Anyway, if you want to wig out, then you can go to patreon.com/podcastios. I really should stop just making myself crack up because it's not very good radio. Check out other podcasts like Time Enough, Twilight Zone podcast, um, Lucas Pokemon, Game Show, the Game Show about games, Films and Filth, the Citizen Kane of podcasts, Hyrule Field Report, and Occult Disney. And all of those have wigs in them.
Do they? Game
as far as you
sure.
know. Yeah, I'm sure someone's worn a wig in Game Show. Anyway, well, until next time, stay Darian.
I choose space. Okay.
All right.
Next week.
You're not gonna do the Twilight Zone recap after this?
No, not just with you.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know if you had people lined up or some shit.
No. No, I would have done that first if we had people coming through, because I would have told them at that time.
Well then.
But coming soon.
That's good, because I was gonna make some notes for that and I just did not get around to that at all.
I'll probably just stare at my list for most of it, but yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of work, kind of.
Let me hit the button.